Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 2 of Watchmen. So, it's been a while since I did my first impressions reaction. In fact, it's actually been a lot longer than I realized, which is not great. To realize that, it kind of feels terrible. I don't know if a lot of you have been waiting for this series to come back, but I feel bad about making it wait so long. See, I did my first impressions reaction at the beginning of July 2021, over a year ago. And there's a lot of things that led to this delay. With the first impressions reactions, obviously it's like I was kind of getting to whatever, whenever, and there were a few things I was pushing back. This was one of them. For a couple reasons. Its length and its content being very heavy. As you remember, I even had to take a break from Doom Patrol, which I will be getting back to as soon as I can. Just because of its content, I just hadn't been in the right mindset and mental health state to be able to react to it at that time, any further at least, than where I did in season 2. And now, with Watchmen, it had been a lot of the same kind of stuff. I just kept putting it off to get to other stuff ahead of time. There were other first impressions things I wanted to get to first. And eventually it just ended up being a year and I didn't even realize it. So we are going to be getting back to this now. There's a recap at the beginning of the episode, so I didn't really bother doing too much in terms of recapping myself otherwise. Because getting to see the recap and getting to see like exactly what happened will help a lot. From what I remember, this series takes place in the continuity of the original graphic novel rather than the was it 2007 movie? But it takes place in the continuity of the graphic novel rather than the movie. So it follows the events of that. Adrian Veidt is still around. He's played by Jeremy Irons in this, which, by the way, is really fun. I just really like Jeremy Irons. And he's just kind of living in the aftermath of everything that happened. There is a cult of Rorschach that has popped up based around, you know, the revealings of Rorschach and everything. And yeah, a new crop of heroes has arisen and everything. It's really interesting. Plus, it touched on some pretty heavy topics. In that first episode, our main character, for example, is a black woman, and I believe she's the main character at least. And she's like kind of and that's kind of a big focal point of things. Just like the original graphic novel, which I did read, I believe I probably said that in the first episode reaction. I did actually read the graphic novel for Watchmen. I read it in high school, a couple times actually. I actually really enjoy it for a comic, which I tend to not enjoy as a medium that much. I did enjoy the Watchmen graphic novel. There are some notable differences from the original movie, and a lot of it boils down to how it ends. They made some notable differences for the movie, basically taking out the entire like alien octopus thing or whatever it was. But apparently that is what they are going with for this series, and again, this is the aftermath like decades later. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly where this goes. This is, to my knowledge, only the one season. And from what I think I had read before, there are no plans for any more. It was conceived as like a short series, just to a one and done situation. But yeah, this is a longer, in terms of runtime series. They are about an hour long each. And it is a very heavy series in terms of its content. So yeah, I want to warn you right off the bat, this will get that way. And it might get me very emotional and possibly very apathetic towards, in terms of my reactions. I'm letting you know ahead of time. I don't plan on dropping it or anything unless it ends up being bad. But the first episode was enjoyable from what I remember. But yeah, it's just, I really wish I hadn't waited so long, but that's also another reason why I'm getting to this now. Because I need to get to it. I need to get back to this, and I need to get back to other stuff that I'd been putting off on my first impressions, reactions, for a long time. So we are going to be trying to get back to some of those while also not ignoring the newer stuff as well. Maybe I'll have, since I have 2 first impression slots right now, maybe I'll have one of them be for more recent stuff and one of them be for older stuff. Because Jujutsu Kaisen is semi-recent. And that's what's going to be replacing Molly McGee. So, yeah. I think I could probably do it that way. So I could get some of the older stuff out of the way, but also, again, not ignore some of the newer stuff that I do want to get back to. That might be the best way to handle it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Either way, we're going to get into this and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. Or, yeah, just episode. It feels like it's more than that because of the length. But it is just a single episode. That being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I was looking through the episode again after the reaction, after stopping that, because I was curious about something. I was looking through the reaction, trying to see if I could find like any clues just from this episode alone. There's this part where it shows like this American hero story, I guess TV documentary or whatnot, on Hooded Justice, which, by the way, I got his name. Hooded Justice, who is the original hero from the Watchmen graphic novel and everything. And he, as we saw, stopped the violent robbers and everything. I was trying to get a good look at, like, as good a look at his eye area as I could, because I wanted to see if, could he be the old man? I just felt like there was a little something there. We know that the grandfather, Will, I think his name was. That's what Angela said, at least. We know that he has friends in high places, literally, apparently. He claims to have been the one to kill the police chief. He was trying to send some coded message, and the fact that Hooded Justice documentary part was just kind of splat in the middle of the episode randomly, it felt like, and especially considering like in the special, in the TV special thing for Hooded Justice, he was like, he was asking, he was saying, who am I? And it was like, I want people to think this is who I am and stuff like that. And I formed a new identity, and when I slipped it over my face, I became someone else and all. And it's like, and a lot of the episode is Angela asking and trying to find out who Will is. So it just feels like there's the connections there that were kind of leading me to that. But when I looked at the eyes and everything, and I couldn't tell. But then again, if that was a documentary, that probably wasn't the same guy, right? If that was a documentary in this universe, it was probably an actor. So it's hard to tell. That's my theory right now, though. But this episode is mostly centering around the aftermath of the police chief Judd's death, and it seems to be centering around secrets being exposed. The Calvary? Is it Calvary or Cavalry? The white supremacist Rorschach cult. They are kind of the catalysts behind everything with this series right now. And now there's a possible link to the chief of police. He might have been a member. I mean, in his closet, in plain view, was a Klan robe. The only thing that makes us question that is because of his connection to Angela and the fact that he seemed very supportive of her and everything. But that might have been the point. I don't know. I don't know if this is like if he's being set up after his death, or if this is real. I don't know. There's a lot of questions I have regarding that. This episode also brought up another interesting little idea, though. It brought up the idea of what if Dr. Manhattan would disguise himself as someone else? What if, like, someone around there could be Dr. Manhattan in disguise? It was brought up with Will. He's like, maybe I'm Dr. Manhattan in disguise. Maybe and it's just like, I guess he could probably do that. With Dr. Manhattan's insane powers and everything. But I don't think that he's Will. If that does end up being a thing, and if Dr. Manhattan is someone, I don't know. Who would he be? He's got to be one of the characters we know, right? I'm unsure. I don't know. But the fact that that idea is being placed in our heads is interesting. There's also a small little bit in this episode showing more of Adrian Veidt. And apparently his servants are seemingly clones. I don't know if this is true, but I mean, I would not put it past Adrian Veidt to figure out cloning technology and be able to clone his servants and all. Because he just violently killed one of them, burned him alive, and then it showed the Dr. Manhattan come out for the play, and when he took his mask off, it was the same guy. It was definitely the same guy. And then others came up, and this other guy had the same face as well, and he became the new guy. I forgot what the name was. But he took over his name. Adrian gave him his name, and it's like, okay, this is weird. This has got to be a cloning situation, right? What else could it be? This episode also dealt with the idea of possible police brutality and stuff. We continue over with the ideas of like the police having to hide their faces and all because of this white supremacist group. And it's being made very clear that there aren't exactly good guys in this. They're just people who are all kinds of fucked up on all kinds of different levels. I mean, the white there are definitely bad guys. I mean, white supremacists are without question bad guys. but there are no real good guys. That no one is innocent. I think that's a big thing it's trying to paint. There are victims. There are people who have been wronged, but no one is innocent. And again, that kind of fits in line with Alan Moore's vision in the original Watchmen. No one was the good guy there. Rorschach was not the good guy. Dr. Manhattan was not the good guy. Silk Spectre, Night Owl, none of them were good guys. The comedian, definitely not. They were all messed up. Humanity kind of sucks. Kind of a big point of it. You're not supposed to idolize or look up to these people. They're not people to view as, inspirational. It's like that meme that you sometimes see online. If you're looking up to these characters, you're getting the wrong idea. And oftentimes it shows characters like Rick from Rick and Morty or whatnot, or Walt from Breaking Bad. It's like these are not characters you're supposed to look up to. You're missing the point. They're not good people. And the same can kind of be said here. Yes, there's people who are better, but even they have issues. Even they have done bad things. And that's made very clear. It's a very heavy series that deals with a lot of real topics, and racism and white supremacy seems to be a huge topic for this series specifically. And I did look this up as well. This is a short form series. It's 9 episodes. And there are no plans to continue it. The original director, writer, whatnot, said that he never really planned on anything past this. And the network has said that they don't plan to make any more without him. So they have it open for more in case anything does happen. They're open to having more to the series, but for right now it's being labeled as a limited series, only the 9 episodes. And so, yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that's a fair idea, just a singular story. I mean, that's what the original Watchmen was in the first place. It wasn't this long, ongoing thing. It was a single story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. But yeah, this episode throws a lot of things into question. It after kind of getting the basis of everything with the story, the where the world is at this point, where some of the characters that we've heard of from the graphic novel or movie are at this moment, this episode starts to raise questions. It starts to build on what we've learned, what we've been introduced to in the first episode, and starts to bring in the mysteries surrounding everything. Starts to make you wonder what the fuck is going on here. And I like that. I think that's a smart idea to do it that way. Have this second episode be like that. And I also found out that that was Jim Beaver, obviously, who was at their house in the episode, who was at Angela and her husband's house. So that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know he was going to be in this, but like I said, he was Bobby Singer in Supernatural. I think he actually has the same. I think his character has the same name in why is my mind blanking? The Boys. I think he's Robert Singer in that, and I think that was meant as a tribute to his role in Supernatural and everything, because I think that's an original character for the Amazon series of The Boys. But yeah, it's fun seeing him pop up and stuff now, because it's like before Supernatural, I had never heard of Jim Beaver, and now it's like after I watch Supernatural, I see him in The Boys, I see him in Watchmen. It's like that's cool. I like him. He's a good actor. He's really fun. I do wonder how big of a role he is going to have in this. So yeah, there's a lot that's going on here. There was some flashbacks to like Germany and everything during possibly World War II. A lot of stuff being set up. And I'm not sure where it's going. But I'm interested. I'm very much interested. I'm very much interested to see where this goes. Because again, I read the graphic novel, and I liked the graphic novel. It's actually one of those few comics I can genuinely say I liked. And I've seen the movie, I believe it was Zack Snyder, the live action movie, and it was really good. It was really good. Jackie Earle Haley as Rorschach was phenomenal. Seriously, Jackie Earle Haley is an underrated actor. He was phenomenal as Rorschach. But everyone was great in that. All the actors, all the characters, the story, and even the changes I didn't mind. I didn't mind the changes that they made. But it is also cool to see that this series is in line with the actual comic story and the more accurate portrayals of that. So yeah, this was fun. Fun, you know what I mean. This was interesting. This was entertaining. I'm very much invested to find out what happens next, and I'm glad to be back with this after we waited a year to get back to it. Again, that wasn't intentional. It just ended up happening, and I didn't even realize it. I really genuinely did not realize it had been that long. I thought it was like maybe since November. But yeah, we're back either way. We'll get through these 9 episodes, and then we'll move on from there. In the meantime, tell me what you thought of episode 2 of Watchmen in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.